On January 24, 2020, Senator Richard Burr walked into a classified Senate briefing about something called COVID-19. The briefing was secret. The information was confidential. The public didn't know about it. You didn't know about it. Inside that room, senators learned the truth. A pandemic was coming. The economy would shut down. Markets would crash. Millions would lose their jobs. The next day, January 25, 2020, Senator Richard Burr sold between $1.3 million and $1.7 million in stocks. Hotel chains, retail companies, travel industry, all of them about to collapse. 1 week before the market crashed. 1 week before you knew it was coming. Senator Kelly Loeffler attended the same briefing. Same room, same day, same classified information. She sold between $1.275 million and $3.1 million in stocks, starting the exact same day as the briefing. Some of those sales happened within hours. This isn't a conspiracy theory. This is documented. SEC Form 4. Financial disclosure reports. Public record. Verified. Dated. Proven. But here's the thing that's going to make you furious. It was completely legal. Let that sink in. No one went to prison. No one lost their job. When fines came, and they rarely did, they were $200. $200. And it's still happening today. In 2020 alone, while Americans lost jobs, savings, and retirement accounts, members of Congress made an estimated $355 million from stock trades. This is the story of congressional insider trading, how it works, why it's legal, why it will never stop. Let me show you the receipts. March 19, 2020. ProPublica drops a bombshell investigation. The headline: Senator dumps stocks after coronavirus briefing. The journalists had cross-referenced everything. Senate briefing attendance records, stock transaction disclosures required by something called the Stock Act, market timelines, kill via news timelines, and a pattern emerged, crystal clear, impossible to deny. Classified briefing, stock sales, market crash. Within 24 hours, the story was everywhere. Twitter was on fire with hashtag #LockThemUp trending. 70% of Americans told pollsters, this should be illegal. But here's what's going to blow your mind. In 2012, America thought this problem was solved. 60 Minutes ran an investigation exposing congressional insider trading. Public outrage erupted. Both parties agreed something had to be done. Congress passed a law, the Stock Act. Stop trading on congressional knowledge. Obama signed it with cameras rolling. Big ceremony. Congress shouldn't profit from insider information, he said. The vote was 96-3 in the Senate. Bipartisan, Republicans and Democrats united. Everyone agreed this was wrong. Americans celebrated. Finally, they can't do this anymore. You know what happened next? They did it anyway. 2013, Congress quietly gutted the law. 2020, COVID trades bigger than ever. 2024, still happening. The law wasn't designed to stop them. It was designed to make you think they stopped. The Stock Act required Congress members to report their trades within 45 days. Post them online. Be transparent. The penalty for breaking it? $200. No criminal penalties, no jail time, no real enforcement. The law was theater. The trading continued. The profits rolled in. Let me show you exactly how this works. 7 simple steps. Members of Congress attend classified briefings all the time. National security, economic policy, health emergencies, military operations. They learn things before the public knows, sometimes weeks or months before. In the case of COVID, they knew in January what you wouldn't learn until March. Now they have non-public information. They know the market will react when this goes public. They know which direction, up or down. They know which companies will be affected. And they have time, days, sometimes weeks, before you find out. The member calls their broker, or their spouse does. They sell stocks that are about to crash, or they buy stocks that are about to soar. We're talking millions of dollars, not thousands, millions. News breaks, the public finds out. Markets react. Stocks crash or soar. Regular people like you trade based on the news, but by then, it's too late. The move already happened. You're buying at the top or selling at the bottom. The Congress member is already positioned perfectly. They avoided the crash, or they caught the rally. Profit, sometimes millions, in a single trade. While regular investors lost money, they made money. The Stock Act requires them to file a report within 45 days. SEC Form 4, it becomes public record. But the trade is already done. The money is already made. The disclosure is after the fact. It's like telling you about the bank robbery 6 weeks later while keeping all the cash. The SEC rarely investigates. Congress investigates itself and finds nothing wrong. The penalty, if it exists at all, is a $200 fine for late paperwork. No criminal prosecution, ever. No job loss, ever. They keep every penny. Now here's why it's legal, and I'm using that word very loosely. The Stock Act has no real teeth. It only applies if you're trading on official insider information, but proving that requires proving intent. Good luck with that. Congress wrote the law. They exempted themselves from the parts that matter. And enforcement? The SEC focuses on corporate insiders, not senators. The Department of Justice almost never prosecutes because it's politically radioactive. Let me put this in perspective. If you did this, if you worked at a company, learned bad news was coming tomorrow, sold your stock today, and the stock crashed tomorrow, you'd go to prison. That's textbook insider trading. Martha Stewart went to prison for selling $228,000 in stock based on inside information. But if you're in Congress, if you attend a classified briefing, learn a pandemic is coming, sell $1.7 million in stock, and the market crashes a week later, you pay a $200 fine, maybe, and you keep all the money. Let me say that again, because this is insane. Martha Stewart, 5 months in federal prison for $228,000. Richard Burr, 0 punishment for $1,700,000. Per crime, sold stock on inside info. His crime, sold stock on inside info. The difference? She wasn't in Congress. If you're not angry yet, you're not paying attention. Different rules for them. Different rules for you. Let me show you the specific trades, names, dates, amounts, all documented. Senator Richard Burr, Republican from North Carolina, Chairman of the Senate Intelligence Committee. January 24, 2020. Attends classified briefing on COVID-19. February 13, 2020. Sells between $628,000 and $1.7 million in stocks. 33 separate transactions, hotel chains, retail companies, travel industry. 1 week later, the market crashes. S&P 500 drops 34%. Those stocks he sold, they collapsed. But here's the part that makes it worse. On the same day he was selling, he was publicly telling Americans don't panic. His official statement said Americans should be prepared but not alarmed. He was alarmed enough to sell everything. You just didn't get the same warning. The FBI investigated. They seized his phone. The investigation lasted months. Outcome? No charges filed. Insufficient evidence. He retired without prosecution, kept all the money. Senator Kelly Loeffler, Republican from Georgia, member of the Senate Health Committee. January 24, 2020. Same classified briefing as Burr. Same day, literally the same day, she starts selling between $1.275 million and $3.1 million over the following weeks. But it gets better. While she's selling retail stocks that are about to crash, she's buying other stocks. Citrix, a remote work company. Telehealth companies. Companies that would soar during a pandemic. Her husband, Jeffrey Sprecher, CEO of the New York Stock Exchange. One of the most powerful men in finance. You think they didn't know what was coming? Senate Ethics Committee investigated. Run by senators. They cleared her. No wrongdoing found. She lost her election, but she kept the money. No criminal charges. And they weren't alone. Senator Feinstein, Democrat from California, sold between $1.5 million and $6 million in biotech stock. For defense, my husband made those trades. I don't control his decisions. Problem? It wasn't actually a blind trust. She knew what he owned. Senator Inhofe, Republican from Oklahoma, sold between $180,000 and $400,000 in stocks 3 days after the classified briefing. At least 5 senators, probably more. All the same pattern, all the same outcome, no consequences. March 2020. The market crashes. S&P 500 drops 34% in 3 weeks. These senators, they lost nothing. Some of them made millions. But you know who did lose? Michael Torres, nurse from Ohio, age 61. March 2020, lost $142,000 in retirement savings. His entire 401 20 years of saving. gone in 3 weeks. He was planning to retire at 65, 4 years away. He'd been looking at houses in Florida, small place near his daughter. Now, he's working until 70, maybe longer. The Florida house? Not happening. Senator Burr avoided the same crash. Burr sold before it happened. Burr made money, while Torres lost everything. Same pandemic, different information, different outcomes. Torres didn't attend a classified briefing. He trusted the public statements. Don't panic. Be prepared but not alarmed. He believed them. He held his stocks. He lost $142,000. Burr attended the briefing. He knew the truth. He sold $1.7 million. He paid $0 in fines. He kept everything. Different rules. But doesn't stop with COVID. March 2023. Silicon Valley Bank collapses. Regional banking crisis begins. Senators on the banking committee had advance warning. They knew before you did. Stock trades filed with the SEC. Multiple senators traded bank stocks in the days before the collapse went public. No investigations, no consequences. A Stanford University study analyzed more than 300,000 trades by members of Congress between 2004 and 2020. The findings: senators beat the market by 12% annually. House members beat the market by 6%. For context, professional fund managers, people who do this for a living, beat the market by maybe 2 to 3%. Regular investors? If you're lucky, you match the market. The study's conclusion, and I quote, "Abnormal returns suggest information advantage." In plain English, they're not lucky. They're not smarter. They have inside information. 2020, the year of the pandemic, the year Americans lost everything. Congress members traded $355 million in stocks. That's more than the GDP of 50 countries. 2021, $619 million. 2022, more than $500 million. 2023, over $400 million. 2024, still going. A separate analysis found that 44 of the 50 most active trading members of Congress trade in stocks directly related to the committees they sit on. You're on the banking committee, you trade bank stocks. Health committee, pharmaceutical stocks. Defense committee, defense contractor stocks. This is the literal definition of conflict of interest. 47 million Americans have money in the stock market through 401 IRAs, pension funds. When the insiders trade and markets crash, here's what happens. You, with your $100,000 retirement account, lose 34% overnight. That's $34,000 gone. The senators who sold the day before, they lost zero. They made money. And here's the insult. Congress members make $174,000 a year in salary. That's taxpayer money, your money. You pay their salary. They use classified information you give them access to trade stocks and make millions, while you lose your retirement. Martha Stewart, 2001. She sold $228,000 in ImClone stock. She had inside information that the FDA would reject their drug. She sold one day before the public announcement. Result: 5 months in federal prison. $30,000 fine. Career destroyed. Senator Richard Burr, 2020. Sold $1.7 million after a classified briefing about a pandemic. Sold 1 week before the market crashed and the public knew. Result: no prison. $200 fine maybe. Retired comfortably, kept all the money. Same crime, different rules. This isn't a Republican problem or a Democrat problem. Burr was Republican. Loeffler was Republican. Feinstein was Democrat. Pelosi's been criticized for her husband's trades. Both parties profit. Both parties protect the system. Because it's not a party. It's a club, and you're not in it. Remember that Stock Act from 2012? The one that was supposed to stop all this? Let me tell you what really happened. 2012, the Stock Act passes. Big ceremony. 96-3 vote in the Senate. Obama signs it. Message to America: we fixed it. Congress won't profit from insider information anymore. What it actually did: required members to report trades within 45 days. Post them online. Pay a $200 fine if you file late. What it didn't do: ban trading, create criminal penalties, provide real enforcement, fix anything. 2013, 1 year later, media's moved on. Public's not paying attention anymore. Congress quietly passes an amendment to the Stock Act. They remove the requirement to post disclosures in a searchable online database. Now it's much harder for journalists and researchers to track their trades. The reason they gave? Security concerns for congressional staffers. The real reason? Make it harder to catch them. The vote? Voice vote. No recorded votes, so you can't even see who supported it. Media coverage? Almost none. And the enforcement? The SEC is supposed to investigate. They almost never do. Why? Political pressure, limited resources. Congress controls the SEC's budget. It's easier to go after corporate insiders who can't defund you. The Department of Justice could prosecute. They never do. Why? Prosecuting a sitting member of Congress is political suicide. It's hard to prove. And again, Congress controls the DOJ's budget. The Senate Ethics Committee investigates senators. The House Ethics Committee investigates representatives. See the problem? They investigate themselves. Congress members investigating their colleagues. Finding their friends guilty would be career suicide. Outcome? They almost never find wrongdoing. Richard Burr, FBI investigated, sees his phone. Months of investigation, no charges filed. Kelly Loeffler, Senate Ethics Committee investigated, cleared her completely, no wrongdoing found. The fines, when they actually happen, average $200. The largest fine ever levied, about $500. You know what the profit is on a typical insider trade? Anywhere from $100,000 to over $1 million. Picture this: you rob a bank. You take $100,000. Police catch you. They fine you $40. You keep the $100,000. That's congressional enforcement. Make $500,000. Pay $200. That's a 0.04% penalty. That's not enforcement. That's permission. And here's why nothing will ever change. Top congressional traders make $10 million to $50 million over their careers from stock trading. The finance industry donates over $500 million to congressional campaigns every year. The top recipients? Members on financial committees, the ones who write the regulations, and when they leave Congress, they become lobbyists. For the same financial firms, for the same companies they traded while in office. Salary: $1 million to $5 million per year. Republicans benefit. Democrats benefit. Both parties are funded by the same industry. Both parties protect the system. There's no incentive to fix it, because they're all getting rich. It's still happening. 2024, 2025, right now. Members of Congress are still trading thousands of stocks, still attending classified briefings, still profiting from information you don't have. There have been multiple proposals to ban congressional stock trading. The polling shows 76% of Americans support a ban. Every single proposal has died in committee, because Congress votes on Congress, and Congress likes making money. Over the last 2 days, I showed you how empires collapse. The 7 stages that every empire goes through: military overextension, currency debasement, debt spirals, loss of production, social decay. This, what I just showed you, this is stage 5, social decay. When the insiders profit while the nation collapses. When the rules are different for the powerful than for everyone else. When institutions are corrupted beyond repair. When trust dies. Spain had it. The nobility was exempt from taxes while peasants starved. Britain had it. Colonial administrators got rich while the empire crumbled. The Soviet Union had it. Party members had special stores, special hospitals, special privileges, while regular citizens stood in breadlines. America has it now. Congress trades on insider information. You lose your retirement, they make millions, you get nothing. This is what stage 5 looks like from the inside. Now do you know? You can't unsee it. The next time you hear about a market crash, the next time you lose money in your 401k, the next time Congress holds a hearing about protecting investors or economic security. Remember, they knew first. They traded first, they profited. You paid, and it's completely legal. So what do you do with this information? First, track them yourself. Websites like Quiverquent show every trade, every filing, every SEC Form 4. Watch them get rich in real time. Second, share this, tag your friends, your family. Most people don't know this is happening. The system works because you don't know. Third, remember their names when they run for re-election. Burr, Loeffler, all of them. They're betting you'll forget by November. Don't forget. Tomorrow, I'm going to show you something even worse. There's $1.4 trillion that was promised to you for retirement. Pension funds, government guarantees, safe investments. It doesn't exist. The pension collapse is already happening. Your state might be next. And the people running these funds, they knew it was coming. Let me show you how they hid it.